This is Hannibal back here for a quick wrestling news update. Tessa Blanchard, the daughter of Tully Blanchard, has returned to an American wrestling company that is, I don't know what you would call it. I would say WWE is number one, AEW is number two. I guess you could say TNA is number three. So she has returned to TNA, where she's actually the undefeated men's world champion. This is interesting because she had most recently been wrestling in Mexico, where she was actually tag team champions in CMLL. So she came back. It looks like she's starting a feud with Jordan Grace, who is apparently going to WWE full time soon. The interesting thing that I have to think about is she burnt her bridge with CMLL, possibly by leaving as tag team champions, where CMLL is obviously in bed with AEW. We hear Tony Khan talking about CMLL more than AEW a lot of the time. So is this secretly WWE making some sort of deal with Tessa, putting her in TNA, where obviously they have a strong working relationship with TNA right now, and seeing what the feedback is as far as her heat is going to be before they bring her up to WWE? Because clearly she's been one of the best women wrestlers in the world for a long time. She has the heritage, the last name, and she's very popular. I know that myself from the videos that I've done about her. So I could definitely see this being WWE has some type of agreement with her, and they are testing her out in TNA to see how that goes before they actually bring her into WWE. That would be my theory on that. One of the worst things they did in TNA, in my opinion, under the Scott D'Amore regime, which was a joke overall, one of their lowest business periods, which is saying a lot, was they made her the men's world champion. So, and he let her leave the company with the belt. So I would like to see, honestly, as much as I don't like intergender matches, whoever is the TNA world champion now, I think it's Dolph Ziggler or Nick Nemeth. I'd like to see Tessa versus him, since she was the undefeated men's champion, and see what happens there. Maybe they could at least bring the respect back somewhat to the men's title if there's anything left there. As far as WWE Saturday night's main event last night, the return of it, I saw some YouTube clips. They had Jesse the Body Ventura announcing, which I'm sure they paid him a fortune to come back. He kept calling Kevin Owens Kevin Owen, so clearly he's not very familiar with the product. He also had said on commentary, I guess, that Kevin Owens had a bloody battle feud with Roman Reigns, which they never had. Anyways, not much happened other than Jesse Ventura's commentary. They brought back the Winged Eagle belt, which everyone from my generation loves overall. And the setup to it was much cooler than the Titantronish setup that they have been doing. The setup was more old school. And although it was using all newer wrestlers, the format of it and music to it was very similar to the old school Saturday night's main event. Tessa versus Charlotte is money. The fact is, they do have a lot of WWE women wrestlers in the company, but not a lot of them are over. Not a lot of them are hugely over. I mean, that's just a fact. So Tessa would be a good potential star in the women's division, because Becky Lynch hasn't re-signed yet. I know that from what I understand, she wants to be getting paid Mercedes Moné type money, but WWE isn't quite offering her the right offer yet. So who knows? She may end up in AEW. You never know. She hasn't re-signed. They got Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, who are probably the two hottest as far as superstars in WWE, the two most popular. And yeah, Charlotte Flair. And then they got some others, but I would say Rhea, Liv Morgan, and Charlotte Flair are the top that your average fan would know. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I think it's I'm glad they're bringing her back. Someone says he thinks Triple H will give her a chance. Then the other thing is, whatever heat she had seems to be blown over. I understand that at various times in her career, she has allegedly had attitude issues. A lot of wrestlers have. There's been conflicting statements on some of the allegations about her that I don't know if it's ever been proven to be true or not. I really don't know. I know at one point she had heat with La Rosa Negra, a Puerto Rican wrestler who I know, and they squashed that. So I would strongly think that they're going to bring Tessa in. And I do think WWE has signed some type of deal with her because another big mistake AEW made, I think, was not hiring Tessa Blanchard. They were even having her work with AEW girls in CMLL. So, I mean, they were even testing the reaction, and that didn't seem to have any negative blowback. So I've interviewed Tully. I've met Tessa a bunch of times, used a bunch of her footage. She's wrestling on this ECW Arena May 3rd event for Tri-State Wrestling Alliance, and I'm wrestling Super Crazy on.